We're glad to have you here. Mark and I are rookies to this thing, right, Mark?
Yeah, this is my first time being on here, yes.
Just so you know, we're usually on here Tuesday mornings. We've started to have some people listening to us. Genene, my partner with the Hometeam at Davis Colemam Realty, and she had her knee replaced, so she's not here today. So I brought my broker, Mark, and he's got some really good information that we're going to talk about. So
how long ago did she have her knee done?
Less than a week.
I've done that twice. It's a fun process.
Yeah, it's been a hard surgery. I've had it done once. I don't want to do it again.
Yeah, the good news for me was I don't have any more knees to go.
Yeah, it's all done. Yeah. So before we start, I just wanted to give a shout out to the wrestlers. Last week we talked about my daughters on the girls wrestling team. First Wasatch girls wrestling team. First of a long line. I can see the girls are doing really well. We went to a tournament over the weekend, and they have a duel at Wasatch tonight. The JV start at 4:30. The varsity girls are at 6, and then they go right into the varsity boys at 7 right after.
And that's Wasatch versus Juab.
Right.
A little trivia for you. Did you know those are the 2 of only 3 teams in the United States that are called the Wasps?
Really?
Yeah, there are only 3. There are lots of Yellow Jackets and Hornets, but there are only 3 Wasps. I can't remember where the 3rd one is.
I didn't know that. I figured that I knew that they were wasps.
I think it's hard to say.
Yeah, wasps.
Just say it fast.
Yeah. When you were in school, Martin, the cheerleaders all just say "wah."
Wow.
The wah. Anyway, so anybody who can come and support the team, girls are just building up support, and so they especially need it. The boys, they're established, and we've been a wrestling community for a lot of years, and so it's fun to see the girls added into that.
Well, we will have the boys wrestling match on the air here, and I'm sure they will sum up the girls wrestling match as they get started.
I would assume, yeah. So,
excuse me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I love following the high school sports. It's great, and 94.5 The Peak has done such a good job of getting basketball and baseball and football and wrestling, all these sports on. It's I'm glad to see what they've done for the community.
The one thing that it's good for me to see is that these kids, spending 2 days at a tournament and seeing how many parents have to work and can't be there but want to so bad, and gives them the opportunity to be involved if they can't get there. Especially we were in Farmington, and it wasn't like they could just run over to the high school, and it was 2 full days, and I know it's hard for some, and so it's really good for these kids to be supported.
Will they be streaming that on the internet? Excuse me.
I don't know the answer to that.
Because I know that the TV program over there does stream a lot of the sports, and I'm not sure if they're going to be doing that one or not, but I would check that out and check and see if they're streaming that.
Yeah, I just think it's a good thing to support these kids and let them know that the community's out here and we care and we're watching them.
That's great. What's up in the world of real estate? Anything good?
There is some great things happening, and I'm going to turn some time over to Mark. He's got some statistics. We shared a little bit of this last time about pre-COVID 2019 versus during 2020 and 2021. It's really an artificial market. It wasn't typical. It's not normal. It's not, so for us, for our statistics, we're looking at pre-COVID and now back to normal.
Right.
And so we go back to 2019 for our statistics because, again, 2020 and 21 were just an anomaly.
Well, I get a monthly report on my mortgage, and my home doubled in value during that period, which is crazy. To double, now it's dropped back down. It's more like what it was before, but that was just a crazy time.
Yeah, everybody wanted out of the city and wanted to move to Wasatch County.
Yeah.
We see that, with the numbers. We ran some statistics on pre-COVID numbers versus today. So 2020 and 2021, our sales were really high in Wasatch County. and Summit County, and pretty much across the state. But if we look at, where we stand today and take those two years out, because like Lisa mentioned, they're kind of artificial because there was something else going on and driving people to more rural areas than normal. And so in 2019, Wasatch County, this is residential sales pulled off the WFR, Wasatch Front MLS. So in 2019, Wasatch County residential sales were 770 sales for the whole year. In 2020, we jumped up to 1,047, and in 2021 we were 1,004. So a huge increase during those years. This last year, to date, right now, we're 859 today. The rest of the numbers that I've run based off December 1st, and so of all the counties, the top counties in northern Utah, we kind of track to see kind of what's happening. Wasatch County, Summit County, Utah County, Salt Lake, Weber, Davis, and Cache. Of all of those counties, Wasatch County on the WFR is the only county that has surpassed pre-COVID sales.
Hold on just 1 second. The WFR is the Wasatch Front Regional MLS.
Right.
Just so when we talk about the WFR, that's what it is.
Yeah. So Summit County, Park City MLS has a lot of sales that are just on the Park City MLS, not on our MLS. So I would assume that they have gone over pre-COVID sales as well.
Right.
I'm just pulling numbers off the WFR. So we were, as of December 1st, we were 108% of sales compared to 2019 pre-COVID levels. Summit County with the Park City MLS, I'm sure is right around where we are. Utah County was only 85%. Salt Lake County was a real eye opener to look at their yearly sales. They were only 69% so far to December 1st. Heber County was 73%, Davis County was 70%, and Cache County was 78%. And so Wasatch and Summit County really would be the only counties that have gone back to pre-COVID levels.
So what does that mean for someone who either wants to buy or sell a home here in the valley? How do those numbers translate into reality?
I think it shows that Wasatch County and Summit County has always been, top as far as value in northern Utah or the state. But I think it shows that Wasatch County is a great investment area, whether you're living here full time or you're buying an investment property, a rental, or anything else. Wasatch County, we've always said, that we're kind of a different market than the Wasatch Front because people move here when they can afford it, when they become, to the point in their lives where they can afford to move to the Wasatch back, to Wasatch and Summit County. So it really shows that we sell as much as anybody in the state and more, pro rata compared to the rest of the state in a down market. And so we've been, our sales really are the strongest county, having not seen the Park City MLS numbers. Wasatch and Summit County are the strongest two counties for sales pro rata in the state.
Are most of these homes primary residences or are they secondary?
Both.
They're both.
Yeah, I wanted to add, I believe adding to what Mark said is that if you look at Summit and Wasatch County, when even during COVID, the amount of cash sales in our valley are, and not all cash, but they have a lot of cash. So people come in and they put a lot of cash down, which takes us out of, in a lot of situations, of the foreclosure or short sale market now, because they aren't going to let their cash go. They're gonna stick and they're gonna figure out a way to stay in those homes until they increase enough so that they can get their value out of it. Where in Salt Lake and Utah County, some of those counties, I know I did some sales with people during COVID that were, some of them were almost 100% mortgage. And if you have a 95 or 90, a lot of them were 3%. They come in with a 3%. If all you're into it is 3% and everything drops, the risk of a foreclosure for you is a lot less than if somebody puts 40,000 or 40% down.
Right.
And so I see there is kind of a protection, so to speak, in our community that's keeping us from that market because of the high cash position of a lot of our people.
What are the demographics that make it possible for them to bring in that money? Is it selling in a market like California where they're making a huge profit on their home, or are these just people that have hit that point in their career where they have money?
I think California definitely has a huge impact on our market, but we've seen people, you know, more than ever. We've had this brokerage since the late 70s, and Lisa's been there for 25 plus years. My family's owned it since then, and I've been there full time for a little over 20 years. It used to be, you know, we would see people from California and that would be common, but we're seeing people from all over the world come here. There used to be a little bit of a difference between our market statistics and Park Cities. Those are kind of growing closer together, even as far as the demographic of where people are coming from to move here. They're coming from all over, not just California.
Is this partly made possible because of the Zoom phenomenon where
Yes.
you can work from home? And
I was just going to add that. I have a great client from Kansas City that live in Midway and work in Kansas City. You know, we have them from Pennsylvania, from during COVID when all that changed. A lot of that they can still work remotely and they go all over the country, and this is where they want to be.
why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
If you can choose to live here and it's possible, this is the place you do want to be.
You did also ask about how this affects people buying. Right now, it affects people buying because this is a buyer's market. There have been a lot of people, I believe, because of we have a lot of second homes. We have a lot of people in the community who, when interest rates changed and things slowed down, we have a lot of inventory. And because we have a lot of inventory, there aren't 5 buyers for every house, and it is a buyer's market. And so people who have been waiting to see what's happening with the interest rates, those are going down. And right now is a time for people to buy.
It really is. When we were, during the last 2 years, 2020 and 2021, we were trending with about 80 to 100 homes on the market. A lot of those were to be built. And so the number of homes that were already built, landscaped, and finished was really low. And we saw a lot of offers come in well over asking price.
Really?
Yeah, multiple offers. Some listings we had 10 or 15 offers on them in the first day that they were hit the market. And so today it's a little different, going from say 80 to 100 listings, more really 80 to 90. We kind of peaked in August. In August we had 370 on the market. This is when rates started to change and kind of the climate started to change from a seller's market to a buyer's market. There was a lot of uncertainty about the rates changing and the approval rates that were happening for mortgages. And so the homes just started coming on the market. We went from 80 to 90 to peaking the week of August 7th to the 13th to 370. We've come back down a little bit right now. We're sitting right around 313 today. That's what I showed for residential listings on the market.
But that's 3 times what we had during all the crazy.
Right. And during that time of the crazy, you know, we were tracking sales, the percent of the sold price compared to the list price. And we were, you know, most of those sales were 100% or more. There were the listings that were absolutely trying to hit a home run and were way north of where they sold, but for a normal listing, listed well in the market, most of those homes came in at 100% of list or higher than that, 108, some of them. And so today we're seeing that come back down to more normal, where you can see anything from 75 to 95. There's still the homes that are being listed and sold at 100% of list price, but we're seeing kind of a more normal trend, more of a 2019, 2018 trend in the number of, or the percentage of lists to sell.
Several months ago, my son decided he wanted to upgrade his home, so he found a home he really liked and made a generous offer on it, and they had accepted it tentatively until somebody swooped in with cash and paid for the whole thing.
Yeah, that happened a lot.
It did it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think the fear of, because there were so few, when somebody started looking, they pulled out all the stops because there wasn't an option. So when a good one came on that was interesting to more than the masses, I guess, it was crazy. You had to hurry, you had to get an offer in and tie it up, or that's exactly what happened. You'd lose it.
Yeah. But you're saying things are back to more of a normal atmosphere.
Yeah, and they're absolutely trending that way. We're seeing homes, the days on market during those times, I think Wasatch County got down to as low as 4 or 5 days, average days on market before it sold. A lot of those listings were just selling, they're pretty much sold before they even hit the market, just because word of mouth and everything. And
So where are we right now with the interest rate?
the interest rate, we're hovering right around 6. I was reading this morning, Forbes had an article this morning that interest rates fell 0.19% over last week. And then Business Insider had an article this morning that we have the lowest rates we've had since September. So September, that's when the Fed was saying that they were gonna raise it, just keep raising it every month, 75 basis points or half a basis point or more, half of 50 basis points or more each month. And so we've kind of come down from that. The language that they're using now is more of a softer language, not as aggressive, and so we're seeing the mortgage rates come down. The rate that they're adjusting every month is not the mortgage rate, it's the prime rate. Car loans, credit cards directly affects. Mortgage rates is kind of a secondary, it kind of reacts to what happens with that rate. And so what we've seen is any time that the Fed is aggressive with their changes, the mortgage rates are affected pretty significantly. When the language starts to back off a little bit and they're not as aggressive, you see the bond market react a little different and mortgage rates not be as quick as a hike as they were back in September and October and November.
So does the mortgage rate react to the bond market and the stock market rather than the other way around?
Bond market, yeah. So it's not a direct change from the prime rate that's being changed every month.
Yeah.
And there are some great programs that are buy downs. So when we say interest rates are 6%, they can get lower. They can buy down the rate for a certain amount of time and hoping, guessing that it's gonna come down and they can refinance. There are some programs out there that you can still get, decent, not 3%, but decent. And so, it just depends on what people are looking for. But if you think about it, if you go in and interest rates are up and that scares people. But if you bought the home, let's say we have $1,000 home, huh? But if you bought the home for, let's say, $100,000, and in the height when it doubled to 200,000, it'll never get back to 100,000. But let's say it's come down to 175 or whatever. If people look at it, there's a lot of people that are waiting for the prices to come down and the interest rate to come down. And we're unfortunately past that, I believe. We're never going to have that perfect market again, not for a long time. And if the interest rates come down, housing is gonna go back up. So if somebody's looking and they go in and they get a deal, a lower price on the home, they may be paying more interest, but if they go in and buy that, and then if the interest rate does come down, they can refinance, they get a double win. And I think people are afraid and they're waiting, and a lot of people in the end are gonna lose because they waited.
Right, they waited too long.
Yeah, because right now those buyers can go in and there's a house and it's been on the market for 69 days. And I saw one yesterday that had been on that long, and it's a great house, but there's just not the buyers. So if you go in and negotiate that price down and get the best deal you can and the best interest rate right now, and then look forward to a refi, and a lot of them will refi at a discount or no fees, so it's not a loss in the end, but you really win buying it. This market should not scare buyers away.
You know, to somebody who's not in this business every day like you guys are, I drive around the valley, and it seems to me like there's still an awful lot of building going on in this valley. A lot of homes out there. So I want to ask you to give two pieces of advice. One for the person looking to buy, and then one for the person looking to sell.
Okay, I'll take the seller first. Well, both actually. I think that your number one most important thing is picking a good agent to represent you, and really communicating with them what you're looking for and what you want and what your specifics are. For us at Davis Colemam, most of us have lived in the valley our whole lives. We know the valley. We know I'm on the city council. I know Mark's been on the school board. I mean, we have the base, the education. So when people walk in and talk about the valley or the houses or that we know, and a lot of times we know houses that are coming before they're ever put on. And so that's a good thing. But I think that knowing that you need help, a lot of people go into it trying to do it on their own, and in the end they lose. They lose financially.
So good representation is the key.
Totally, and I don't think a lot of people understand what an agent does for them. And so as a seller, for sure, you need somebody that you can work with well to come in and coach you on how to make your house look so it shows well, how to price it right, how to make it so that I mean, I have some listings right now that are great, but they're priced, they're not aggressively priced, but the ones that are aggressively priced and are pricing it where it should be in the market right now, they're getting shown and they are selling. So you have to have somebody who knows, because the market does change, and somebody who can help you.
So a lot does depend then on the urgency of the seller. Do I need to sell this fast, or can I wait for a while?
For sure.
And what we see today in selling a home, if you take the last 30 days on the Wasatch Front MLS, it shows in the last 30 days there were 48 homes that sold in Wasatch County, and the average days on market for those homes was 64 days. And so strategy is a lot to do with it today. If you come into a market, and we're coming down a little, we're a strong market. We haven't dipped like some of the areas in Salt Lake or some of the other counties. We're still very strong. But if you come in at the top and you're just above, versus like listing in January per se, where you come in at a list price and you're just at the top of what you could get. Back in January, there were enough buyers in the market and so low inventory that you could sell with that strategy. Today, if you come in at the top, you might chase the market down for a while and decreasing the list price, and chase it until you get into the area where you can sell it and be on the market for 60 plus days, or longer. We're seeing, some homes on the market significantly longer than that. So strategy has a lot to do with it now.
Well, and regardless of the interest rate or the cost of homes, this is an awesome place to live.
It really is.
People want to be here. Let me tell you my story. When I moved up here 35 years ago, people said, why in the world would you want to live in Heber? And now people say, how were you so lucky to get to move to Heber? The perspective on what Heber Valley is has just changed over the years.
It really has. And even today, with our sales numbers in December, we're not where we were in 2020 or 2021, but we still have just a number of people. Each one of our agents have a number of people who are looking and just waiting to buy. They're weighing out the interest rates and the other things happening in the market. There's a lot of people still wanting to buy here and just waiting until they feel comfortable with whatever economic forecast they're listening to buy. And so it hasn't gone away. There's still a lot of people waiting to buy, and so we see the 2023 as being a good year. We don't see it as being a real downer.
So people that are interested in either buying or selling need to contact Davis Colemam, right?
That would be great.
Yeah, and just our Davis Colemam, our office is right next to Walgreens, right on Main Street. You can walk in. We have somebody at the front desk who can help you find an agent. You can look for us. We are on the web. They can Google us. We usually give our phone numbers. Mine's 435-671-2336, and our office is 435-654-3024. And people can call us. We are good to give information. We'll help them with whatever they need, selling, buying, rentals. We do have rentals. Right now there are a lot of rentals out there in the market. Sometimes in the past there's been a lot fewer. There's more, but they're high priced too.
That's a whole other story, isn't it?
Yeah.
We maybe need to talk about that sometime, the rentals in the valley.
Because people have bought at a certain price.
Right.
That they have to get a certain amount of rent, and so it's keeping those rents up as well.
Well, Mark, from your time on the school board, you know how tough it is to get teachers a place to live.
It's really tough.
It's
really tough. Hopefully there's a solution that comes where they can have some sort of a program. We can bring in top-notch teachers and people that work in the other areas of the county in the same situation. Because it's tough. It's hard right now.
I know a lot of the younger teachers are doing the self-help homes, trying to get into homes that way. And you just got to get your foot in any way you can. Well, any final words?
No, just we're glad to be here, and we'll be here Tuesday next week and try and bring some more statistics. And if anybody has questions, we should probably email us and we'll find out some answers. And you can find us online, daviscolemanrealty.com, and let Genene or I know, or Mark, if there's something specific you'd like us to bring and talk about. But the only other thing is we always give a spotlight home.
Right.
And my listing right now that would be the one that I think is a really great home is right by the Midway School, and it's right on the corner. It's a family home, and it's a great listing. But we do have several that are great that I would love to show anybody. Even if they just are thinking they might want to, call us. We have the time right now. Things are a little slow. We have the time to go out and spend some time showing you around and educating you on, do you want to sell? Do you want to buy?
Yeah.
Mark, do you have a